Health Workforce Project is dedicated to demystifying, decoding, highlighting, and celebrating the jobs, careers, and opportunities to contribute to the health workforce. The health workforce is an amazing system, but it's also very complex. There are a variety of different fields an individual can choose from, and a variety of different jobs and ways to contribute. And it can be difficult for an individual that doesn't know where to start. So, in this project, we are going to talk to experts, professionals, and individuals that contribute to the healthcare system. We're going to learn about their habits and characteristics and what make them successful in their given positions. We'll learn about their education paths. We'll learn about the different things that they've done to be successful, and we'll also hear the stories about why they chose to contribute to healthcare and the people that they've helped. I know you'll enjoy the episodes brought to you in this Health Workforce Project. Workforce Project is brought to you by the Region 8 Healthcare Sector Partnership. In the San Luis Valley, collaborating is key, taking the resources that we have so that we can understand how to best use them to get the things that we need to get done. The Region 8 Healthcare Sector Partnership is a prime example of collaboration. There are dozens of involved and engaged partners from San Luis Valley Health, Adams State University, Trinidad State Junior College, City of Alamosa, who hosts these events, these meetings and collaborations. The mission is to connect, collaborate, and strengthen healthcare in the San Luis Valley by engaging key stakeholders and job seekers. And at Region 8 Healthcare Partnership.blogspot.com, you can learn more about this partnership. You can learn about the education paths, the education opportunities in the San Luis Valley, and we can learn more about the different career resources like the Health Workforce Project. This is a great project. This is a great initiative by all the different folks that contribute to the healthcare system, that contribute to getting the people that we need to take care of the people that we love. Hello there, this is AJ Webb, the host of the Health Workforce Project. I'm the visiting assistant professor of healthcare administration at Adams State University. I'm also a contributor to the local healthcare system, San Luis Valley Health. And today I sit down in this Health Workforce Project interview with a new member to the health workforce. Her name is Carolina Rodriguez. Carolina Rodriguez is from Holly, Colorado, and she just entered the health workforce a little over a year ago. She currently works in the information technology department, contributing to the help desk, as well as a variety of different jobs where she helps individuals use the technology solutions at the local healthcare system. Carolina Rodriguez is a fascinating and, dare I say, inspiring story. She is a first-generation college student that has done a lot of things very, very well in regards to taking advantage of educational opportunities in high school, including earning the vast majority of her associate's degree, going to a local junior college where she received a CNA credential where she got to experience some home health care, and she had aspirations of becoming a nurse. However, the curriculum didn't line up with her preferences, didn't line up with some of her styles, and she pivoted into a healthcare administration major where she is able to use some of the clinical experience that she received to contribute to the healthcare workforce. She is, again, inspiring in the things that she has done in order to achieve her education and to do it right and proper. So I know in this project episode, we can learn a lot from Carolina about taking advantage of opportunities, finding people to help you out, and overall being committed to helping people in healthcare. I know you'll enjoy this episode. Carolina Rodriguez, thank you for meeting with me in the School of Business. You're fresh out of the School of Business. Can you tell me, so your name's Carolina Rodriguez, tell me where you're from and what years did you frequent this building?
Okay, so I am originally from Holly, Colorado, and it's a small town in southeastern, in the southeastern corner of Colorado, and I came here to Adams State in 2015, and yeah, in August of 2015, immediately after graduation. And I heard of Adams State through a college fair.
Okay.
That they had the camp program had a little booth up, and they talked about their opportunities here in Adams and their scholarship program, and so decided to come and visit it.
Awesome. So the college fair. So was this the college fair there at your high school?
No, it was at the Lamar Community College.
Oh, okay.
They host a college fair each year.
Okay. So Holly and Lamar, are they pretty close to each other?
Yeah, they're like 30 minutes apart.
Okay. Both pretty small towns?
Yeah, small towns both. And I can't remember. A lot of, I think other programs go to, so it's kind of a career fair slash college fair, because companies go for if you don't want to go to college, or universities or tech institutions and stuff like that.
Awesome. So you came here in 2015, the fall of 2015?
Yes.
And then you just graduated in the spring of 2018.
Yes.
Very nice. That's a pretty quick stay, right?
Yeah.
The way I understand it is that you got the opportunity to complete some school while you were in school.
Yeah. So my high school that I went to offered the concurrent enrollment, and so that's a really great opportunity for any high school student if their high school offers concurrent enrollment, or their local community college offers some kind of advanced placement class that they could test as a college class. Because I was able to get up to 50 some credits.
That's awesome.
From that.
For free.
For free, yeah.
For free while you were in high school.
Yeah, while you're in high school.
So that's like 2 years. So I spent so I was here from 2005 to 2010, right? So you had you got 2 years less.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you were able to knock that out. So you had your associates and you graduate. You hear about Adams State. How high up on your list was Adams State initially when you were making your choice to go to college?
Okay, so initially, after that career fair, Adams State was third on my list of options, because first on my list was Lamar Community College, surprisingly, because it was closer to home, and there wasn't the commitment of a full-on 4-year degree. It was just like you would take a course and then take another course and just kind of leap your way through. And so that was my first choice. And then second choice was UCCS in Colorado Springs, just because they had a really good nursing program, and nursing was the major I wanted to go into at the time. And then Adams State was my third choice. But after visiting UCCS and visiting Adams State, I started to like Adams State more, just because it was more like, it had more of a welcoming environment, and
a little bit different visit experiences.
Yeah. Maybe also the time of year I came helped, but it was a beautiful spring day, and it was a little cold and stuff, how it is here, but it was nice. I felt welcomed. I felt like I actually belonged.
Yeah, you felt like there's a place here for you. And that's a good feeling when you're about to make such a big choice.
Yeah, and even the city was people in the community were really nice, and it was easy to travel. I didn't have to take a shuttle to class.
So you get, because UCCS probably a big campus, huh?
Yeah.
Takes a long time to go and see that thing in one tour, huh?
In one tour, yeah. I think we were there for about 6 hours, and we didn't get to see the whole thing in 6 hours.
Well, that's unfortunate. Not that you need to see the whole thing, but it's also kind of nice to have your bearings around where everything's at. So you end up deciding to go to Adams State. UCCS is number one on your list, and then you have these experiences where Adams State feels a little bit, more like home, the smaller environment. Did you get a feel for that classroom-wise too?
Yeah, definitely. Over there, I think the smallest class or average size class was of 40 people.
Oh, wow.
Whereas here,
That's a big class here.
that would be one of the big lecture classes here.
Very nice. So so you and I are coworkers now also,
Yeah.
right? So you work over at San Luis Valley Health. I work over at San Luis Valley Health as well. You have done 8 months?
Yeah, going on to 9 months.
Going on to 9 months,
Yeah.
working in the information technology department over at the hospital.
Yeah,
Is that how you describe it?
I think so.
Information technology?
Information technology.
Okay. And I just, so you wind up in a healthcare position, supporting healthcare workers. But how did you start in this journey to ultimately ending up in this health IT role that you landed yourself before you even graduated? Where did you start in healthcare?
Okay, so, well, like I said earlier, I wanted to do the nursing program, and came here to Adams, started doing the prereqs for the nursing program. I had I had gotten certified for my CNA in Lamar, so I had that little background.
Awesome.
And did some home health care back at home, and so got to experience that, and applied to the nursing program here. Ended up not making the cut quite exactly, and then that year I decided that as long as it was in healthcare, I'd be happy, and that it would land me somewhere where I wanted to be, and started taking classes here for or switch my major from
the prereqs of
the
nursing?
prereqs of nursing to being a healthcare administration major. And then my advisor really helped me get into classes because it was all a last minute switch and kind of a big switch in my life.
Yeah,
especially.
it's kind of a pivot.
Yeah.
Right? You're in the same area, but a whole different side to it.
Yeah, a whole different department to go to school at, and then just different side of healthcare, I guess, versus what I knew was just the clinical side.
Right.
And so started taking the classes, really got to learn about what goes behind the scenes in healthcare. And my junior year of college, one of the requisites on the course for healthcare is getting a healthcare internship. And so my advisor and one of my professors helped me get an internship at SLV Health, which was great because I had always wanted to work at SLV Health before, even before.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so I interned summer of 2017 in cardiology in SLV Health as a admissions rep, just scheduling or admitting people for their appointments. And so that really gave me the big chunk of experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that. What was it that made you always want to work for it? I mean, were you driving by the big healthcare organization in this community and going, "Oh man, that sign sure is blue"?
Yeah.
What was it about it that made it? I don't know, a dream is the right term, but it was an ambition of yours, something that you were striving to do.
Yeah. So when I came to tour Adams State, and when I went to tour UCCS, it was about like 2 weeks apart from when I toured them. And I really, for some reason, I really liked the UCCS like picture with the clock tower on there or whatever. And then when I showed up, it was like, oh, okay. It was great, but it wasn't the like, oh wow feeling that I thought I was gonna get. And then when I came here to Alamosa, I really liked the university and stuff. And then when we drove off, we drove by the
other clock
by
tower.
the other clock tower. And for some reason, that's when I felt oh wow, like I feel like I need to work here, or I feel like I need to be here.
That's awesome.
And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so that really, I don't know, just really liked it. And when I became involved in the prereq program for nursing, I heard a lot of great things from SLV, that they were really helping the students get their clinicals and their internships there. And so I really saw that as a good thing, and also saw a lot of community involvement from the hospital with like things at the college or things for the community for like Thanksgiving donations and stuff like that. And so I don't know, it just seemed like a very friendly like the place to be.
Right. I think that's a strategy to leave a really good impression on the community. You know, we get the responsibility to SLV Health to take care of people, but they're taking care of us just as much. So this attitude of gratitude and giving some of it back via the food pantry work and the Lids for Kids and the breast cancer, the cancer awareness and things like that. That was my experience also. I was really just, wow. SLV Health had impressed me before when I worked at San Luis Valley Behavioral Health Group. I really enjoyed working over there and really enjoyed the roles that I got to do over there. But just some of those things were just, wow. You know, I have a scooter that my daughter got from Lids from Kids Advance. Just, you know, even now I see that little frozen scooter and I'm thinking, wow, that's really cool that she got that. Yeah. So that's awesome. I didn't know that you had this ambition to work. So you had studied and gotten your associate's degree and gotten a CNA credential. Yeah. Right. And you did some home health care. Right?
Yeah, there's some home.
Right, so you got your, not hands dirty, right? We have clean hands in healthcare, but you got into it a little bit, and then so you work to start your nursing prereq program, and it's a bummer when you don't get into things. Yeah. Right, and I'm preaching to the choir here. I remember coming to Adams State and going, I would like to study fire science. Not a program in 2005, right? And maybe I could have cobbled together some other stuff and picked something else, but I was just like, oh, dang, you know, well, I'm going to have to make some different choices now. Nursing's pretty tough, right? So the nursing program is rigorous. I understand the tests are very demanding. The studying is very demanding. Oh, yeah. And that there are certain components that make it particularly difficult, and for good reason, right? But there's still a lot of work to be done in healthcare beyond that clinical hands-on component. So what was it like transitioning from gearing up, getting ready to be a nurse, into the same field, but now a different side of it? What was that transition like for you?
So it was kind of like easy and fun. But then at the same time, there were some aspects to it that were like, whoa, I didn't expect to have to learn accounting. And so those were the harder aspects. And then also with the whole, I guess, just the morale of being like, oh man, I didn't make it into the program, or should I go ahead and get into healthcare and finish on track, or wait a whole nother year to reapply. And so at first it was really great, because I went from having a major that I had to really study for and memorize things like in anatomy and stuff, rules and stuff, to learning about policy in healthcare and the management side of stuff. And then, so at first it seemed easy, because I was like, oh, okay, like this is easier to study. Right. But then also there's so much more to remember. Or I don't know if more, but there's so much to remember.
It's a little more abstract, I think. I mean, it appears, just from my observation and hearing people talk about the nursing program, if this then that, if this then that. Not that you don't problem solve within that, but you have some parameters. And then as far as healthcare administration as a whole, there's there's a lot of creativity involved. There's a lot to go into. So I could see how switching gears would be an interesting thing, especially, you're feeling a little bummed, but at the same time, now you got a whole new set of problems to learn and a new way to think about how do we keep the lights on in this place? How do we make our services as safe as possible? How do we increase satisfaction? There's a lot that goes into our patient experiences in healthcare.
Yeah, definitely. And then a lot of the like how in the clinical side, I learned a lot of the rules of the do's and don'ts and like definitely don'ts.
Right, right.
And with healthcare admin, I learned all those like policies and HIPAA and all these things that are very sensitive and really need to be taken care of with proper
respect.
Respect.
Right. Yeah, and it's like funny to think about like the degree to which people, you know, you get someone who's on the more clinical end of things, right? Good, healthy respect for hand hygiene.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have a good, healthy respect for risk reduction, you know, and just different things like that. So it's definitely an interesting field to see where clinical and non-clinical folks have to come together to work to create a quality patient experience that helps people get better so they can go and live the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and so it was a good transition. I ended up being I guess my fate or whatever.
My destiny.
Yeah, that definitely had a role there, and I really enjoy it now. What I do.
So tell us a little bit more about what you do. No, you don't have to divulge any classified secrets or anything like that. But I like to highlight this too. So you had a little bit of experience working in healthcare, so you learned some stuff getting your CNA credential, right? Yeah. So you got some clinicalness to you. And then you also got to go and have an internship. And it sounds like that internship was a really positive experience for you.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I guess the internship really helped me see a more broad aspect of what was going on, clinical side and administrative side, because as an admissions rep, you're kind of helping everyone, helping your administrators, your managers get the paperwork that they need, and then you're also helping your providers and the nurses to have things ready for them to just do what they
You're setting the table in a very big way.
Yeah, and so it was like a middle, I don't know, like best
compromise.
Of both, best of both worlds situation. And I really got to appreciate my degree and also really appreciate and see how much it takes to be on the clinical side. And because props to them.
Respect to the powerful nurses, the powerful doctors, but also respect to the administrators. They, you know, it really is a team. It's a team effort. And that's one of the things that I'm always fascinated about is, you know, you got to have this black coat and this white coat and this black suit come together to make sure, and that black coat may never ever be able to walk through in the footsteps in the same shoes as that white coat, and vice versa. So it's
because it takes also a lot of patience to be an
asking questions, understanding. But there's a lot of stuff going on. So again, let's hear more about. And you were able to. So you had an internship. You built some relationships, right? I mean. The way I understood it is they're trying to scoop you back up and send you back over to cardio. But you end up applying for a couple of different positions, and you're able to get yourself a job. Like, when did you start work? Did you start work in May?
I started working in June.
So you started working in June.
So it's
like,
actually
what,
been
a couple of
8 months.
A couple of weeks after you graduate.
Yeah.
That's got to feel pretty good, huh? I mean, did that I remember starting my internship and getting a part-time job in February before I graduated, and that felt good. My fate was not. It wasn't as scary anymore because I had just like you started an internship and had earned a position, had been given the opportunity. What'd that feel like?
It was really great. It was it was like a milestone almost. To receive that email saying that I got accepted into one of the departments as an intern, it really, it was the highlight of that year almost. And it was awesome. A big.
Now, how about that? We want to give you a job. What was that conversation like?
Oh yeah, so that was a tough conversation because it was a full-time position and I still had 1 more year to go, and so it was kind of scary to have to say no to something that you really wanted. Yeah.
How about that conversation when they say, "Hey, we want you to work for us in IT"? What was that conversation like?
That was really exciting, actually. I really liked it because I had no experience with IT. I had the only experience I had was from a healthcare informatics class that I had, and that was it with IT. That was all that I knew. But having the internship there a year before really ended up being a benefit because I knew how to use the programs that SLB uses.
You were able to get into Paragon, you were able to sift around there, get people, so you had a functioning knowledge of how those things worked.
So I knew kind of how the end users or like the admin reps use the EMR system, and so that was really helpful whenever I interviewed for my IT job. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. And even with cardiology, with having to leave my internship instead of going on and just clocking in after whatever hours of internship, they were very understanding that, oh no, like that's fine. When you graduate, come back and talk to us. And
good job. So I mean, doing a good job at internships is a good way.
Oh, yeah.
You get the knowledge and experience. Now, you said you didn't have any experience in IT, but you and I had a conversation prior to you applying for those about your RA experience.
Oh, yes.
How long were you an RA? What did that get you, and how does that help you today?
So I was an RA for Adams State for 2 years.
2 or 3 years.
2 years, and it really helped out in a lot of ways, actually. Like it was, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was in my life, but so being an RA helped me pay for my room and board. And it opened a lot of doors here on campus and made me gain an enormous amount of experience in different areas. And I just forgot that was also, I guess, an IT
It's
experience.
a different kind of customer service, right? You're trying to help students who live next to you and not get in trouble, but at the same time support them in ways that, like, you're not holding people's hands and taking them to class or anything like that, but you're making sure they got a safe place to live.
Yeah, making sure they're accountable for, I guess, or accounted for.
Because I'm sure in that experience you had to deal with some difficult students. I'm sure you had to deal with some wild situations. I'm sure you had to take on some projects and have some responsibilities.
Oh yeah. So that gave me a lot of experience on how to coexist in a friendly way with a variety number of people.
And diverse population of folks.
And so that was good. It helped me how to deal with that, or how to manage and talk to people when they're in a bad situation already, like upset, frustrated, or when they don't know what to do. So it really helped now as an IT tech.
Carolina, I can't figure this out. It's broken. Can you get in their patient portal and help me?
Yeah.
The sky is falling. I need it now.
So now,
why'd you do this to me, by the way?
And so I think one of the most important things is to not take things personally when people...
That's a hard skill to learn.
Yeah, because sometimes people are frustrated and mad, and they're not mad at you or at the organization. They're mad at whatever's not working for them.
Right.
So...
yeah, those are difficult situations, and, handled well, you're extremely valuable to an organization if you can stay calm, help people out, manage their expectations, follow up with them. But it's also, they can go south pretty quick too. So I would love to hear, right? So I'd describe your college experience as a very successful one, as far as you had some adversities, you had to make a pivot, you chose a different path, but in the same industry, you made that pivot successfully. You got yourself some good experience and a job as you graduated.
Yeah.
So you know, secured some things for yourself there. And oh, by the way, you also knocked out an associate's, got some clinical experience,
Yeah.
and you were able to pay for some room and board by your work as a resident assistant. I mean, give me some knuckles, because
Yes.
that's a pretty rad experience there.
Yeah, that is. And so it's like, not to brag and to brag. It's like, sorry, not sorry. Having that RA job made it possible for me to come out, like graduate with very little loans. I have a $2,000 loan, which it's in the process of getting paid for, and which is really nothing for a 4-year degree.
That's not very much.
And
It's not very much. I mean,
yeah.
four-year degrees at college is expensive.
Yes.
There's a lot of costs, right? And you earned it through being a resident assistant.
Yeah.
But you did it. You did it good. You did it good. You
Yeah.
know, coming out with not having a bunch of stuff hanging over your head.
Yeah.
You know, and some folks, they do. You know, we're all in different positions, right? So,
Yeah.
but I think yeah, you ducked some loans, but really you took advantage of opportunities
Yeah.
to participate through high school, to participate in these other things like being an RA, participating in internships, building relationships. So
Yeah.
I'd say you just did a good job of taking advantage of some opportunities, and that's led you to where you're at. You got a 4-year degree. You don't got a whole lot of
Loans,
you don't
yeah.
have a whole lot of loans. You have yourself a job, and
Yeah.
you're on the up and up. You may not even want to give your 18-year-old self advice, or whatever age you were choosing in healthcare or choosing to go to school. But what advice would you give yourself, or what advice would you give someone out there who's like, I don't know if I could do this, or I don't know what this is me, or maybe I should go to Adams State or UCC. What kind of information do you have out there for people in that are trying to find their way?
I would say take every opportunity and look for something that fits that you want. Like, don't go for whatever everyone else in the class is going to go to, or the same major or degree that's popular, or the university that's popular, because sometimes that ends up being not what fits you. And so if you have a passion for healthcare, find something in healthcare, or do some research on what really is being a nurse, or what really are all the requirements to get into a program, and look into the other positions in healthcare and see, like, oh, maybe I like to be an IT tech better, or an HR rep.
Yeah.
And so really get informed on that and take advantage of all the opportunities. I'm sure I let some scholarships go when I could have. Maybe I wouldn't have the $2,000 loan.
Maybe. Right.
Yeah. And participate. So I didn't participate very much in high school. I was too busy having a job or whatever. But in college, I decided to switch that around and participate on campus, or if I was going to have a job, have it be an on-campus job. Get involved in the community, that type of stuff.
Yeah, being engaged,
Yeah.
right? Where you're, connecting with whatever it is that
Yeah.
you're doing. Like, for me, I was engaged because I played football, but I didn't start doing PBL until the last 2 years that I was here. And I wish I would have started earlier. The first year I went, I was the parliamentarian, which is the guy that didn't win anything but got to go on the trip anyway. And then the next year, I spent a lot of time. I worked with my buddy Nick, who you got to meet. He came down in class.
Yeah.
He's the gentleman that used to works for Cerner. Now he has his own health information systems consulting company. He's over working in Philadelphia. And him and I got to go and compete in marketing analysis and decision making, and we were just being engaged. We were just engaged with what was going on in the school, taking advantage of things here in the School of Business. So, anything else you'd want to say to a younger version of yourself, or someone out there who's like, how about someone in the nursing program who's going, my head hurts? What do you think is something that they should take into consideration?
So take into consideration that why you're doing it, I guess. Like if you're doing it because it's a good pay, because nurses do get paid very well. If you're doing it just for the money, it's probably not the best because it takes a lot of passion and love for what you're doing to actually
nurses are
go through.
I think everybody for the most part can do anything. Like I believe anyone can like get themselves to a point where they can master skills, but there's something about some nurse, like my grandma was a nurse, and she just put that hand on your shoulder and give you a cookie, and it's just like, how did you make me
feel better?
It's all better, right? So there's some definitely personality things. There's some preferences on work type and stuff like that. But don't go into it for the dough, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go into it for just the money. And if you are passionate about healthcare, nursing and being a doctor aren't the only healthcare options out there. There's so many different positions. I think currently we have about maybe like 15 or 20 positions open.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like that.
And that's not like a knock on the organization. Like, it's growing.
Yeah, we cover so much. We cover the whole valley pretty much,
right.
And there's employment for healthcare options everywhere in the country. So it's a good way to go, I guess. And also, if you are interested in healthcare and you're on the business side of healthcare, and maybe it's not the one, it's not turning out like you wanted it to, take a look into the clinical side. And
definitely. Besides classes that you had taken with me, what are some of your favorite experiences in classes, in your healthcare administration tracks? I mean, you've had a variety of adjuncts. You've had Professor Valdez, you've had Professor Robbins, you've had quite a few different people.
Yeah.
Any memorable experiences or things that like, oh man, that was good, and I hope that other people that are thinking about Adams State or healthcare administration, that they could maybe experience that too?
Yeah, so what I really honestly enjoyed about Adams State was that most of my professors, including yourself, worked in what they were teaching. So my accounting professor had been an accountant and still is, or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So we got a lot of hands-on experience, even though you're not actually doing books for a company. We would have those type of problems or scenarios, or in our test, it would be like an actual reconciliation statement or whatever that you had to make it balance out at the end.
Yeah.
And so that's one example. Also, for in the classes I had with you, the informatics or the healthcare marketing, we actually had to do a project that was hands-on, and I don't know, it just gave us an experience of what it was really like to be a marketer at a healthcare organization, or work at informatics in a healthcare organization. And healthcare law, it was also really great that our professor had some experience with law, and he had the law part, he didn't have the healthcare part, but he was able to tie it into healthcare. And so it was really cool to learn about these real life scenarios or some cases that actually went to court and stuff. And so I think that's very important, because not only did we get the textbook side knowledge, but we also got the hands-on experience knowledge.
Right.
From
there's an element of the practicality of it. And then there's also, it's practicality, but it's also that small environment, 6, 7, 8, 20 students, that allows things to be a little more personal, because you get to share stories, right? You have a little bit of slack in the class to take some time to say, hey, what's been your experience with this, and how did you see this play out the last time you were at the doctor, and you ever got a bill that was funky, and just kind of going through all those different scenarios. That was one of my favorite parts about being a student here, was those classroom sizes, some of the flexible scheduling, taking some night courses. I mean, it's a nice change of pace for a student, but it also helps out the professionals out there that are still working to pursue their pursue their degree.
So that's awesome. Actually, I had a class like that this summer that it ended up not fitting into the school year, and SLV worked around it, and Armando, my professor, was really flexible about it, and I was able to pass the class while being a full-time employee.
Awesome. All right, we had a little glitch there. Carolina, I want to ask you, are you the first person in your family to go to college?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm first generation, low income.
Okay.
So that's actually how I got into the CAMP program.
What's CAMP stand for?
College Assistant Migrant Program.
Okay.
And it helps students whose parents have been migrant workers, or that's essentially what it is, or are have been migrant workers in the past, and are still low income, and so it helps them with your first year of college. And so that's actually a big reason why I was able to come to Adams State. Not Alamo State, Lamar Community College was my first option at first, because it didn't have the commitment of four-year degree, but it also didn't have the financial commitment of like, oh, I have to pay for a full semester because
And live there.
Yeah, and I lived there, and you paid each class as you went, and eventually finished up a course. And with the scholarship, I was able to kind of take a leap of faith and come to Adams, and it helped me, together with FAFSA and like other scholarships that I had applied for, pay for my full first year of college, and then afterwards got the RA job. And
Very. So that's inspiring in a lot of ways, because I can imagine, that someone in your position could have really been discouraged. Like, college isn't for me. That's too expensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could never do something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's help out there. I guess that's what I would say to myself as well.
There's some resources. I mean, asking some questions and being. I mean, that can be scary to ask those questions, but that's something you can do. I mean, there are programs out there to help folks in all kinds of situations get themselves into some higher education, learn some stuff, and go and contribute that to the world, just like you. Anything else that you would want to tell someone who is, maybe feeling discouraged, or I'm not going to be able to afford this, I can't do this? Anything else you want to tell them?
To look into every opportunity, to look for, there's a lot of help out there for low-income first-generation students, and there's also the Student Support Services, or TRIO, FAFSA, so really get a counselor or a professor to help you fill that out, and look into all those other opportunities through, if your parents were migrant workers, if you were ever in some type of like childhood adversity program, there's help out there for those type of programs. And to not think that because you don't have the finances to go into college on your senior year of high school, that doesn't mean that you won't get through it. Because like me, I didn't have, like, I had maybe to take 2 courses at Lamar Community College, which is essentially like maybe $3,000. And I ended up getting that scholarship, coming here, working my way through, getting that RA job, and ended up not having to pay that much out of pocket.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You made it happen.
Yeah.
That's an inspiring story.
Yeah.
I could see how someone might think that they're down and out, but you did what you had to do, take advantage of opportunities. Very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you for sharing that also. Carolina, I just want to let you know that I think you have a great story.
Oh, thank you.
Coming from the east side, almost, the western Kansas, basically, making a pivot from a clinical end to the administrative end of healthcare, and doing a good job, taking advantage of opportunities, and getting yourself a role where now you get to contribute to the healthcare system.
Yeah.
People around here, they get the opportunity to get the care they need, get the bills that are associated with it, and have a satisfying experience, and you're part of that. And so I want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And good job. And I really appreciate you sitting down and telling us these things about your story into healthcare and your story here at Adams State. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, awesome.
That was a good five. It was a real good five.